what is the single biggest operational change that your team has to manage at the physical fueling station level?
So in 2015, we announced the NYC Clean Fleet Plan, and the goal was to reduce 50% of greenhouse gases from our city fleet by 2025, in 10 years, and we're now in 2025. And we have one of the big fleets in the United States, probably 10 or 11th largest across the whole country. So 3-part strategy: electrify everything you can as soon as you can, implement hybrids and efficiencies, and then what you asked about, replace all our fossil diesel with biofuels. And we've done that. So the whole city fleet, every garbage truck, fire truck, parks truck today uses exclusively biofuels, renewable diesel, 95% renewable diesel with 5% biodiesel. Basically, we power the whole city fleet, including all the emergency services and off-road, with used cooking oil and waste animal fats.
So I'd like to turn it over to you. I know a big focus of the work that you do at the coalition is focused on promoting environmental justice and equality. So I'd love to ask you about how local heavy-duty investment here in the area can better prioritize and directly address environmental justice and air quality issues in the community.
Number one, I think that oftentimes over the last decade, we have spent so much time using terms that ordinary people can't understand. And I think the word pollution is something that most people can understand and know it's not good for you. The DC, Maryland, Virginia area has gotten an F from the American Lung Association for air quality. And a lot of that deals with environmental policies. And the average person doesn't understand why it happens. People have high rates of asthma and cancer in a middle-income county as if they live in a low-income county. So when we talk about environmental justice, we want to talk about how do we make it plain, and then also how do we make sure we make a difference. And that's what our organization is really been, because we're helping to save lives. We work on a lot of different projects, and there needs to be an urgency, because the number one reason why kids miss school is because of asthma, and asthma outbreaks are accelerated by transportation, right? And so that's a fixable solution.
Can you talk about how this project will directly support or inform the Blue Highways Initiative in New York City? And what is the key step to scale this model to other cities?
So the Blue Highways Initiative, as I mentioned earlier, is the goal is to activate the waterways. There are, I believe, 520 miles of waterways around New York City because we are a city of islands. And so the goal is to try to reduce the congestion as well as the pollution caused by traffic, and in particular diesel trucks, using maritime. So it's growing, but the challenges are also very real. The infrastructure is still being developed, but I'd say one of the other big challenges is just a shift in mindset for the shippers and the receivers. So, these large companies and small companies have their systems, they have their suppliers, and it can be uncomfortable, challenging, and sometimes slow at first, and may even require loss leaders to shift the logistics operation away from trucking to maritime. And so we're hoping to make it slightly easier by having this pilot opportunity, which we're learning some of the lessons about what the challenges are and what makes it harder.
Shout to you, Will, and ask you this question. What innovative partnership is necessary between utilities and fleet operators to effectively coordinate and fund medium and heavy-duty vehicle power access?
I really think it starts with long-range planning and partnership. We want to help our states meet their transportation goals. I think as Matt alluded to, having a master plan, having a long-range plan of where do you want your state and city to be? How many vehicles do you want on the road? Where's the funding coming from to electrify your medium, heavy-duty, or even light-duty vehicles? And then working with your utilities in order to discuss what are the infrastructure needs and timelines to meet those. So we're going to need that infrastructure. So how can we start to plan appropriately? And so that's just an overall message I have for all partners within this particular roundtable is the sooner you bring us to the table, the more we can help you all and reach your goals, the more we can think about what innovative practices, time of use rates, when are you charging, what type of loads you're going to see, and where the infrastructure we need to bring in to electrify that particular location.
I want to ask you, what is the most important policy or investment needed to increase the use of renewable gas or hydrogen in difficult to liquefy medium and heavy-duty vehicles?
Well, I think we've seen a change here federally for everything, all of the above approach. I think that's important. Early gains, those benefits compound, and our members that are in using renewable natural gas are making a major impact in not only criteria pollutants, but decarbonizing their overall footprint. I think policies that continue to promote the transition to renewable natural gas is really important. Federally, that would be the renewable fuel standard. In states, it could be low carbon fuel standards. We have them in California, Oregon, Washington. They are in the process of finalizing rules in Mexico. There are hosts of other states in the upper Midwest and East Coast that are considering their own. Those are all important. And as long as when they do propagate those rules, that everyone has a chance to compete on a level playing field, I think you'll see a growing adoption of not only technologies that are available and fuelable today, like renewable natural gas, but electric and potentially hydrogen down the long term.
What do you think is the key regulatory innovation needed to accelerate the safe deployment and operation of new medium and heavy duty vehicle technology?
Well, that's a great question. You're not going to be surprised by the answer. It's a little bit mundane. It's not a technology innovation. It really is an innovative approach to governance and regulation, intergovernmental coordination, and procurement. And government, in my 20 years of experience working there, is not equipped to handle this without an EV czar. Right now, we have too many different agencies doing two different things. And because of politics, it's usually a major miracle if the mayor and the governor get along in New York State. And this goes for a lot of different states where the politics cause problems and the lack of a cohesive governance framework where somebody's in charge causes delays in the movement. So we really need to either create, at the governor's level, in every state, a transportation electrification czar or an entity that is flexible with procurement, who can have conversations with the private sector. So we need a master plan for electrification. If you don't have those conversations with the public and private sector at the table, this movement is dead in my view.
What would you say is the most innovative regulatory solution required to ensure that the grid manages medium heavy duty vehicle load without hindering the transition?
I want to emphasize it's not so much a problem of the total amount of electricity available. A lot of people think that that's the case, but it's not. Most of the time of the day and most of the time of the year, the electricity system in the U.S. actually has lots of spare capacity. The challenge actually comes more in getting that capacity to a specific site because it's a lot of energy going into a small location. So in order to overcome those challenges, what we need to do is take a more proactive approach in order to be able to accelerate